a first series. It's like it's virgin territory and you're creating something new, and it was wonderful that the audiences enjoyed it as much as we did making it. So with the second series, it's that weight of expectation that not only do you want to hit the mark of the first series, but you want to take it further. The challenge of series 2 was, of course, we'd used a lot of the books, but the wonderful thing is, of course, we still had Kerry Greenwood. When we talked about what worlds we wanted to investigate in series 2, we were able to go to Kerry and talk to her about what she thought was good material to be mined.
Some of the scenes I have read and I thought, did I write that? No, I didn't write that. I wish I'd written that. That's a beautiful line. I wish I'd written it. So there's so much au fait with me that we are so close together that it's just like a continuation of something I might have written but didn't actually get round to writing, which is wonderful, because I'll never write as many books as I want to write, no matter how long I live.
It's a more discerning audience because they know they're getting history, they know they're getting social issues, they know they're getting more for their viewing effort than just being entertained by a murder mystery.
Kerry has a compendium of short stories called Question of Death, so we were able to use 2 of the episodes were based on short stories in that, one around football and the other one called The Blood of One of the Mad. The unusual thing with Miss Fisher is every episode we take the audience into a different world. This series we go into the high end of Collins Street, the brothels in Collins Street. We go to a fashion house, we go onto a film set. We have episodes based on Montsalvat in Eltham. We're using the Polly Woodside, the National Trust Polly Woodside, which is a beautiful boat that's hardly seen on film.
Yeah, what we've tried to do in this series actually is to make it a broader canvas overall. I think you'd have to say it is definitely more cinematic than the first series. We've gone wider.
What is interesting about the second series is that there's a lot more mystery in the murders. And I guess the most tantalising overall arc of the story is Jack's background and what is going to happen between Franny and Jack.
Essie's a star. Essie just owns the screen. She's fiercely intelligent. She's got a great sense of confidence about her. She's ferocious with her love of life. She's such a passionate person and it just exudes it on screen. You know, like the character, anywhere Essie is or anywhere Franny is, that's where you want to be. So we're so fortunate to have her and she just makes the series.
It's not just that she looks like Franny, that wouldn't be sufficient. She has the right elan, she has the right style, she has the right ruthlessness, the right arrogance. Franny is not necessarily a nice person, but she is extremely strong. And the first moment that I saw Essie Davis walk on, when she still had long hair and had pinned it up, I thought, I want her, please, I want her, please. They said, fortunately, we think so too.
She knows Franny Fisher inside out, and she's the best person. We of course try and do what we can with all the characters when we put scripts out there, but she's the best person to monitor any glitches. Anything that she feels is not quite in character, not quite in keeping. She's sort of the holder of the, you know, the whole journey for that character.
There's nothing more joyful than hearing Essie's laugh. She keeps everyone buoyed on set. It's a very close-knit team. Her and the leading man, Nathan, have a great relationship on screen and off screen, so there's a lot of laughter. And when you're doing a long-running series, it's really important that the fun of the show, they keep it alive, because, you know, Miss Fisher is all about the joy of life and the fun of life. It's very central to that character, so Essie just embodies that.
No one's going to tell her how to run her life. She's a Caesar of the day, and although far less frequently this series. I'd have to remedy that. She loves life, and if life brings a gorgeous, attractive man who would like to share her room with her, then so be it. Much less complicated than a man who's the marrying type. Here we are in Queenscliff for the second series of Miss Fisher's murder mysteries.
With the second series, we were able to draw on two of Kerry's books. One was Dead Man's Chest, which is set in the seaside town of Queenscliff. So that was fantastic, being able to take the crew there and exploit the beautiful surrounds of Queenscliff.
Aunt Prudence is horrified that the riffraff have moved into Queenscliff, and we look at what happens when the wealthy are struggling. It's not one that affects Phryne as directly as it does Aunt Prudence probably in that one, because her friend Tilly McNaster feels that she was never good enough. She went to Worley Grammar like Aunt Prudence did, but she never felt that she had the breeding or the class. So it's a very subtle kind of class war, I guess, we play out in that episode.
Queenscliff's a beautiful place. I've never been, but I think we have the largest fan base in Australia in Queenscliff, because when we went down to the train station there were people everywhere taking photos and getting out their iPhones, and it was a ball, and we're so lucky to have those fans. And
I know that we had quite a large fan base in Queenscliff because we seem to be constantly surrounded by Phryne tourists, which was great. It was really lovely.
This whole world of people that you didn't expect, Queenscliffers all that are sort of around and there, in between takes, which is so odd because you just sort of, they're there.
This particular location is good for us, mainly because it gives us a sort of a run of buildings which are pretty much in period and not too much work for the art department to correct and make period. We've got the old hotel, which is at first glance you might think it's been modernised because it's got round window frames, but in actual fact they're the original style of windows, which look a little bit like 70s windows when you look at them.
hi everyone, as you can see, just getting makeup done on the upper legs here, which is rather embarrassing because they're so white, and we're about to get into the water. Irony is on Monday it was 37 degrees and today it's about 12. So, gotta go and get in. 1920s bathing suits. Revealing, I think, is the first word that comes to my head. So what Nathan and I are wearing today is in fact the 1920s version of the Budgie Smuggler. More like a skirt than a little sort of, I won't show you too much, but little trunks underneath. And they were very modest back in the day. They didn't want to show too much. So I think
they actually have a modesty flap.
Modesty flap.
Modesty flap.
And they had these fetching belts too. And I didn't know they pulled their pants so high. And I don't know how they swam in them constantly, because I don't want to get too graphic, but I think talcum powder would have been widely used by males back then. If you know what I mean.
This is fun. We should holiday together more often.
The boxing episode was a huge highlight. It was the episode where we get to meet Hugh a little more, and we get to know who Hugh is and what's happened in his past to make him become the man that he is today. We did a few sessions with Russell Frost, who's our stunt coordinator. It's a complete different style. Sort of back then it's more fisticuffs, as today it's more keeping your hands up. So there was a bit of research that went into that, yeah. I'd cop one jab and I'd be like, nope, throw in the towel, throw in the towel.
My father was a wharfie, known in the trade as a knockabout bloke. I loved him dearly. He was a lovely man. And one of the things he was good at was boxing. And as he said, I haven't got a mark on me. Look, no split eyebrow, no cauliflower ears. And he hadn't got a mark on him. He said it was because he ducked very fast. But he was the one who taught me to skip, because boxers train by skipping. So he taught me to skip. And no wonder I've always had problems with role models.
One of the ways in which Aboriginal people could be quite successful in their community was through sport. So the boxing tents were quite famous amongst and opportunities for Aboriginal fellas to get quite known and famous and successful in the field of boxing.
Throughout the first 20th century, you had some amazing boxers coming through, like Lionel Rose, for example. You know, he was sort of more sort of 50s, 60s. But there were mention of quite a number of Indigenous boxers in that period, and you know, they weren't, I don't think, highlighted into celebrity status at that period, because you know, they kind of didn't have that luxury. But certainly within their own circles, you know, there was definitely a way to gain respect, and also kind of, you know, a strong financial source.
Really the theme is mother love. To what extremes a mother would go to protect her child. And we have a white mother and a black mother coming together and helping each other on that basis. And I think that's why I think it's a very successful Indigenous story. It looks at the issues in passing, because this mother had lost a child to welfare, but it also looks at what the common ground is emotionally. It's really about who women dress for, why women want to dress well, what's in it for them, what does it represent. For Phryne, it represents going from a life of poverty to a life where you can have the sensual pleasure of beautiful clothes. But for Dot, she was brought up to be modest and not to be showy, and her mother's comment on seeing someone standing out from the crowd was that, well, they'll see you coming. What Dot realises, whether it's right or wrong, is that the men are completely secondary, you know, and that poor Hugh digs a hole for himself in commenting on whether he likes her clothes or doesn't like her clothes. Hugh, in the end, she decides that, well, I'm never going to get the right answer. And I think a lot of men still feel like that. They can never give the right answer when it comes to women asking, you know, what they look like in something. And in the end, it's a good message, I think, for Dot and for Phryne to get out there, is that women, you do it for yourself. And so it's Dot wrestling with those issues, which I think are really interesting.
And this is my sister Renee, my sister Simone. I am the older sister, and she is the younger, more modern sister. Yeah. So this is at the House of de Fleury, which is Madame Simone Fleury's. Well, it's actually a salon. It's supposed to be a partnership, but she's taken over. Well, actually, it's not a partnership. It is supposed to be. There is an argument that goes through the episode, through this particular episode.
Oh yeah, that was great.
However, she wins. I win in the end. Oh, we mustn't tell them that. So sorry. Oh, you found it.
A great highlight for me was it's called Spanner in the Works, which is based around the female mechanics in a car rally. We were able to use the grounds around Werribee for that, and so you've got these beautiful vintage racing cars against the Australian bush.
After the First World War, so many men died or were injured, so it gave women great opportunities to work as mechanics or in other fields where there had been before only men. And Dot, as conservative and insulated a life as she's led, she does reveal in yet another one of her brilliant undercover agent modes that a sewing machine is as tricky to drive as a vehicle.
I'm Bob King. It's a 1923 Hispano Suiza. Came into Australia in 1923 into Victoria, and we don't know much about what happened to it after that. Till it was found probably in the 50s in outback Queensland. It's just a heap of bits being used as a barbecue by shearers. And eventually all the bits were gathered up, and I was the fool that did the big task to put it all together.
Brendan Dillon, raconteur, This is a Minerva from Belgium, 1926, 5.5 litre engine, beautiful old thing, original car. The car maker didn't do the coachwork. You bought a chassis with the engine up to here, and then you took it to a coach builder, and the coach builder, you know, if you were a Jack the Lad, a two-seater, or if you had a family, you'd make a tourer, and so that would be, yeah, you'd get the bodywork you wanted. Hello, beautiful.
My name's Graham Bennett. I'm from Castlemaine, and this is my 1922 AC. AC, England's longest continuous car manufacturer. They're still making them today. They started in 1903. They're famous for displacing the horse in London. They made a three-wheel delivery cart, and that's how they made their money. Yeah, I drove it to Darwin by myself, so that was that took about 6 days, but it gets a little hot in summer because it doesn't have a fan, so it doesn't like traffic lights and things like that. Some people enjoy the restoration of a motor car, so therefore they don't want it to degrade from that, so they put them on trailers and they don't drive them on wet roads. Whereas other people like the joy of driving them because they're different to drive. And I just like old mechanical things. They sound different, they smell different, and they should be driven. If they're not driven, they're not reliable. So they won't work if you bring them out once a year.
Okay, thanks guys. Standing by to shoot.
Hi, I'm Rachel Mazur and I'm playing Cora Derrimut.
My name's Genevieve Pico and I'm playing Balma Brightwell.
My name's Mark Colesmith and I'm playing the character Tom Derrimut.
G'day, my name's Daniel Fredrickson. I'm playing Fletcher.
It's always fun to work with good actors. Actors are quite delightful people generally, and I must say lots of people I haven't worked with before that I've really loved working with in this series, and I'm glad that it's a show that good actors want to come and work on.
Now that I think actors know what the series is, and I think it has this kind of popularity, they want to come and play in a way that actors, UK actors, will want to come and play in a Poirot or a Miss Marple. It's great for us because we can have more than one well-known face in an episode, and it means we're not flagging who the murderer will be. It means people can't pick it.
We were very fortunate to have Rachel Blake come in for the female mechanics. Heather Mitchell's been in, who just, you know, ate the role, and she has a lovely tone to her, the right sense of humour, along with Sibylla Budd and Freya Stafford that's in that episode. So a fantastic ensemble of male and female performers.
There's a big board in the office with all the headshots of the new actors coming up for the next block, and I like walking into the office and looking at that board and going, oh, we've got him and we've got her, and I think that's great, and I love working with these people that I've always idolised and always kind of watched on TV and always gone, God, that'd be great to work with him or her.
It's pretty overwhelming to see the level of actor coming on as guesties in this show. There is already a large pool of Australian actors that are wonderful, incredibly talented and hardworking. So it's humbling to have them coming on as guest roles for this show and being able to experience them.
It's so unreal being a part of this era where it's so beautifully shot, and the costumes and the detail that's gone into the costuming is just stunning, and the, you know, getting the cars and the all of that is, and you look at it, you know, it's interesting being here on set. It never looks as amazing as it does on TV. You watch it on TV and it's like, oh, you feel like you're actually there. Yeah.
I mean, I just think that everyone who works on this show just has such a wonderful time. And because the lead characters are so strong and the lead actors who are playing them are just so magnificent, it sort of infiltrates down amongst everybody and everyone has a wonderful time.
Well, first of all, you've got to hide all the hair that she's got, so that's even before the wig pops on her head. Just even getting the wig made, you know, has to be properly measured to her head and everything. So getting her hair down, getting the wig sorted every single time so it's sitting in the correct style, and then making it fit on her head. So it's quite a gruelling process, and it's over an hour in the chair, like an hour and a quarter, maybe an hour and a half some days.
But you know, wigs need work. They need a lot of tending and hair taken out, and there was a lot of hair, and I have a small head.
I painted there because I pulled the wig back so it can reveal just her hairline.
Gorgeous. Love you.
She's incredibly patient, and you know, she's a lot of fun to have around, so it makes the day go quickly.
Lip gloss. Oh, I've done it, thanks. Yeah.
Spend a little bit of time in this. This is what I call the House of Phryne, and this is where we keep all of Essie's clothes that we've made for Series 1 and Series 2 so far. I was really blessed to have Essie, who can actually wear clothes. She's got an extraordinary sassiness, and she really makes the clothes shine, really. There's always a particular colour palette that you find, and then you start building from there. So you work out, you sit down with a script and you work out how many outfits you need, the stunt doubles, all sorts of things. So you're making things for particular scenes. You look at the location photos, you work out how things are going to be placed within that piece. This is an outfit we're just about to make for an episode that's set in a vineyard. So I wanted really autumnal colours. You start collecting bits and pieces, and you form the hat, you work out all the feathers, you work out the colours, and you make the whole piece. From top to bottom, you actually create the whole piece. So the whole thing will move, and within the countryside, you can imagine the movement and the sort of, in a vineyard at this time of year, which is autumn. It will look absolutely glorious. And this is for a very particular scene where Phryne's being run out of town, so I wanted her to look quite brilliant. We even hand colour all the shoes, and you'll see this beautiful checkerboard pattern. All of this rattan work will all be checkerboard patterned. So by the end of it, it'll look fantastic. It's not just about colour, it's also about drape. This fabric you could never make a dress out of. This fabric always needs to be used as an outer, as a coat. It's not something that you could ever shape and form. So each piece of fabric actually has a different characteristic. So one of the really big parts of this job is to actually understand the quality of fabric and to understand what it's capable of doing and what the best use of it is. These days there's too much synthetic in them, there's too much polyester in them, and they just don't have the drape, and they don't have this really beautiful lustre. Gareth Blaha, who I call the House of Gareth, he makes me really gorgeous headpieces and stuff, and these are things you sort of can't find, but they're terrifically beautiful. As you see, we have a lot of hats. There's hats everywhere. Hats are made hats are made for nearly every outfit. This was another outfit we put together. This is actually a gorgeous car coat that's also a sari. Racing car drivers at the time were superstars. They were the rock stars of the age. It looks quite smashing. Her with a beret, sunglasses, a lot of attitude, very, very sassy. This coat here was a piece of fabric I found in Rome. It's the most curious piece of fabric, but it's made a really gorgeous coat. My staff were actually really quite nervous about cutting this because they knew how fond I was of it. Boxing used to be incredibly glamorous, and people used to get really dressed up, so I wanted to sort of have the very sort of down-market Melbourne and the very extravagant Phryne. So this was made to actually for big scenes where Phryne was actually walking by the seaside. I just thought it would be really quite beautiful. It's got extraordinary sort of movement in it, and she looks like she's flying, which is fun.
Marion is amazing. She's constantly amazes me. In fact, I've got a lot more clothes this series than I think I had last series, which is quite phenomenal. And beautiful jewellery and beautiful coats and hats and shoes. And yeah, Marion's phenomenal. She always makes me feel incredibly blessed that she wants to dress me.
My name's Genevieve Picco and I'm playing Velma Brightwell, who's a complex and interesting woman. She runs the local pub, hotel actually, it's more a hotel, although it does serve drinks, and she runs the switchboard. And being a small country town, that means she knows everything that goes on. So that's kind of fun to play character. She has lost both her husband and her son in the First War, so she's pretty tough to actually maintain and keep going. So that's also a nice little complexity to play. And I don't know what else I can say without giving away too many things about the episode and who killed whom. You've got quite rich characters to play, and because of the nature of the series itself being a murder mystery, you've got a chance to not play the obvious or play against the obvious and leave clues and not leave clues, and that's fun. That's actually quite nice to do, yeah. We're at the Dubuque Winery, which is just an amazing place to be. I don't really know much about it, but it's one of the earliest vineyards in the country, 1860s it was established, and which is why I suppose we're using all the old buildings and stuff, which is great. I've been here for a week. Nice to be on location, a gorgeous spot in the winery where it's a bit tempting to go and have the odd bottle of wine, tasting.
Dubuque Vineyard, which is up near Ngambie. It's probably less than 2 hours out of Melbourne. And there they have underground cellars with the huge vats, etc., dating back to 150 years. And they're just fantastic locations. The buildings are very much in use and intact. While I was there, I could see the whole thing would work to create a hotel, exterior and interior, at the end of the town, which would serve two purposes. It covers an existing 1970s building, and it gives us a chance to actually shoot interiors of the town hotel and see the town in the background.
My name's Justin Johnston and I work at Hollywoodside as an education facilitator or children's performer, and occasionally help out when there's a bit of a film shoot, and particularly when it's something nautical like today. We're in Melbourne at the moment in the Duke's Dock, and Hollywwoodside's been here since 1978, and she's a museum ship. She used to sail from 1885 to 1923, and then she became a coal barge after that, but she's been in this site for about nearly 40 years now. Holly is unique because she's original. I mean, the deck house we're standing on and a few of the pieces above deck level, they've been added in and recreated later, but the bulk of Hollywoodside is original, and that's what makes her so unique. She was a small vessel. She was a bit runty, I suppose you might say, but and she carried some horrible cargoes, you know, and the ones that the other ships didn't want or didn't need to carry, and so that a ship like her survived also makes her unique, and the sheer volume of kilometres that she sailed. Nothing like a period drama, and having them all on the ship today has been, the last couple of days has been great. Polly's had film crews in the past. I think in about 1980 she had We of the Never Never this was the Docks for Leaving, and the pirate movie with Christopher Atkins was filmed, and there was big fight scenes there, but we haven't had anything like this for a while, and this has been a great crew, and a crew you'd happily have back on your location.
Sadler, and today I'm doubling for John. That's his real name, but I think it's Maury. I'm the Maury stunt double. I'm going to jump off, as you can see in the background, off the top beam here. It's a 20-foot fall into the box rig just here. done a few high falls, but they're always a bit nerve-wracking. Russell Frost is our stunt coordinator today, and he looks after me. He's a really, really good operator. And Robbie Clissold as well, and he's our stunt rigger, stunt assistant who built the rig for me. And I trust these guys with my life. So we've got on the bottom we've got a layer of Skydex, and then we've got some 6-inch mats, and then 2 layers of boxes, and then some thinner mats. And that'll probably be like landing in a cloud in a way if I hit it right. Be nice and soft for me. So yeah.
And action!
Well, tonight I'm doubling Daniel Fredrickson, which is Fletcher, and he gets shot in the shoulder and goes over the edge there. It's probably the middle of winter. You couldn't get much more middle of winter than this, could you? I have a wetsuit underneath the costume, so that should help me a little bit. But I don't think it has much time to heat my body up though. I don't think I'm worried about the cold so much as the water, because we are near the Yarra. But I know I'm going to be fine. And yeah, you prepare for the cold by knowing that you're going to be warm pretty soon after. And look after you.
Here we go, and action, and bang!
Thank you.
All right, take right.
Would you mind awfully asking Mr. Butler to fix me something a little stronger? Thank you. Allow me to apologise for the state of my abode. I've had renovations and I wasn't expecting guests quite so soon. Now, let me tell you what I have planned for the coming months. A seaside holiday with Jane and Dot. We'll enjoy a little time away from murder. Aunt Prudence has asked me to host a séance here, so that'll be a lark. And a dear friend of mine is producing a moving picture, so I'll finally get to learn how to operate one of these contraptions. So much fun to be had. Unless, of course, somebody drops dead. You must join me.
One of the episodes I feel most passionate about is our Christmas episode, where we're doing Christmas in July that will also have snow. I remember as a child having a wonderful tradition in our family on Christmas Eve. We would either watch It's a Wonderful Life or White Christmas, and would all sit around, and it was a very family experience. So with Miss Fisher, we're wanting to do the same. We're wanting to create an episode all around Christmas in July, and hopefully families around Australia will be able to sit down on Christmas Eve and enjoy it. And Kerry was very instrumental in that. She had a fantastic idea that was central to that episode, and I'm very excited to see how that's going to turn out.
It's all based around them being captive in a chalet in the middle of the snow. So it's going to be a challenge for us is to create also that covered in snow, and you can, for certain shots you can use things like chopped tissue paper. The other one's done with foam, and there's styrene pellets, soap flakes, etc. So there's lots of different actual methods of creating snow, depending on what sort of effect you're after.